how to make your work on time and budget, how to boost your efficiency, how to use your time to reach the most impressive or valuable results. This technique allowed me to be more efficient, to do the tasks faster and achieve overall better results. My name is Vilfred. I'm design team lead in Shift4 Payments. And this video is about good enough design, design that does the job and follows 80-on-20 principle. Understanding when to put your pencil down is a real challenge for designers. As a designer, you have to ensure you are paying the attention to the right details and when a design is, good enough. Sometimes designers are trapped in limbo of pixel pushing. I remember myself spending hours and hours refining every pixel of my design without any breakthrough. I was burning my time without any result or with very small progress. I was trying not only to feed my ego and high aesthetic needs, but also it will sound funny to impress other designers. I needed something that would be visually appealing, that would look amazing in my portfolio, but that would be just perfect. Leonardo da Vinci once told that art is never finished, only abandoned. Same goes with the design. You can improve stuff for ages, but achieving absolute perfection may be impossible. And so, as increasing effort results in diminishing results, further activity becomes increasingly inefficient. Basically, you just burn your time. You are wasting your time. Robert Alexander Watson Watt, a pioneer in development of radar, was instrumental in creating a system to detect airplanes that many say contributed to the Royal Air Force victory at the Battle of Britain. Explaining the decision to employ the far from perfect radar to protect the British shores, Watson Watt said, always try to give the military the third best, because the best is impossible and the second best is always too late. This attitude of being good enough, not perfect, has been dubbed the cult of imperfect. Voltaire summed the attitude nearly 200 years earlier when he wrote, "The best is the enemy of the good." So, if not perfect, how we should describe the good? Good enough. Aristotle, Confucius, and other classical philosophers propound the principle of golden mean, which consoles against extremism in general. The Pareto principle of 80-on-20 rule explains this numerically. For example, it commonly takes 20% of full time to complete 80% of task, while to complete the last 20% of the task, it takes 80% of the effort. The principle was named after Italian economist Vilfred Pareto, who noted the 80-on-20 connection in 1896 as published in his first work. In it, Pareto showed that approximately 80% of the land in Italy was owned by 20% of population. So, how we could use Pareto principle in our work? Well, 80-on-20 principle is not about doing the bare minimum, it's about focusing energy on what needs to be done. If 80% of your positive results flow from only 20% of your overall effort, the previous time needs to be treasured. The 20% is what we should focus on. So here are my 5 tips how to obtain a superpower of being efficient. First of all, you need to prioritize your tasks and work. First, establish the items you are prioritizing and write them. This can be projects, ideas, jobs to be done, user groups or personas, research activities, or tasks. Next, you need to define the criteria according to which you perform the prioritization. For prioritizing different ideas, the criteria should be impact on the user or feasibility. For prioritizing personas, they could be percentage of user base or ROI. Example, metrics that I've made a while ago. User frequency of usage, time per week, or it can be amount of visits to some page, or tracking the events in Google Analytics. Then its importance to users, 1 to 10 survey results, complexity to design, approximate hours that I need to spend on task, then importance to business, stakeholder evaluation, and frogs, my sympathy to the task. I will explain that in details a bit later. After filling this matrix, I can see which tasks, parts of the project are the most important and need to be addressed first. Which parts will be the most visible, the most important to business, which of them have the biggest value to users. Now, when I have the priorities and I do understand the value of each task or of each screen, I'm time boxing. Based on those values, I create deadlines, time frame for myself, how much time I can spend on each task or part of the project. The third thing is eating the frogs. If you eat frog at the beginning of every day, then you could more or less ensure that it'd be the worst thing you had to do. So, to explain that, each of us have a battery that drains. Tasks that we hate are requiring more willpower and overall energy to do or finish. When we do stuff that we do like, we appear in a flow, so we use less willpower. I think all of you had that feeling while doing some fun job, that you are in some sort of trance, and even after hours of doing the work, you still had a lot of energy. So first, you do the worst stuff that you hate the most, that drains your willpower, and leave the stuff that you do like to the second part of the day. And being aware of the details you don't really want to do and the things you want to do can help guide you properly prioritizing your work. Now, in step 4, I do 80% of the perfect. I do safety net of good enough designs, where I reach the 80% of good enough. I'm not measuring that. It's just my assumption that I reach the good enough result without trying to reach the perfection. For low priority tasks, I can do even the bare minimum. So example, when I draw illustration, there is no point to draw every detail with the perfection. If you know that nobody will see those details, sometimes you need to ditch the details to achieve the great results while doing illustration work. Same could be applied to design tasks. It's the core stuff that you need to get right. All those corner cases that are invisible to users or business need to be covered, but there's no need to seek for the perfection. I consider the deliverable good enough when it successfully solves the problem, addresses the need. The quality of work is consistent with or above the level of previous work. It meets the brand's quality standards. And the third, it has been reviewed by the other qualified individuals. So in step 5, if I have enough time, I strive for perfection. After finishing all the tasks that need to be done, I know that I have fail-safe solution. Now I can go deep into those parts that I want to polish, to make them outstanding without blowing the deadlines, or I can do other projects or any other activities. I use that rule 80-on-20 also to define my weakness. If I spend on some task majority of time with diminishing results, I try to master them, so next time it would take me less time. So once again, use your time and energy wisely. Done is better than perfect. And thank you. Subscribe to my channel.